Welcome, everybody. My name is Amiibo Jason. I am here once again with my best buddy in the whole wide world, the amazing, the talented, the handsome Hero TJ. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing amazing. Happy to be here with you, Jason.
It is a crazy couple of days. Absolutely nuts, to be honest. Oh, you know what? I'm like, what is going on here? This video is showing up as unlisted for some reason. So let me make this public real quick so that people can actually know this is happening. And we'll go from there.
We're secret unlockable characters right now.
Apparently. All right, we are officially now set as not unlisted, which I'm hoping is going to help boost the viewership on this one. I've never encountered that before. But welcome to the first episode of Smash Switch Speculation for the year for 2020. It's very good to be back, and we finally have some amazing Super Smash Bros. News coming up, so I'm super excited about that. TJ, what's your thoughts on this?
Well,
brief overview.
We discussed in our last podcast that we knew this news was coming soon. They had until the end of February to meet their original deadline for announcing all 5 characters, and so I'm just overcome with excitement. But honestly, my biggest takeaway is that I'm glad that, at least for now, the rumor mill is going to calm down a little bit. At least that's my hope, because who knows if we go in there and Sakurai announces anything about the DLC fighters that we already know are coming afterwards, then it's just going to continue the cycle all over again.
Oh, for sure. I agree with you. At this point, anything could be announced and everybody's going to go insane. I think there have been a handful of potential leaks, if you want to call them that people are kind of gravitating towards at this point. I'm hoping they're wrong. We are going to talk about those. Before we get into the characters, though, I do want to talk about something that's more near and dear to my heart. I know it's near and dear to your heart, and that's the potential amiibo support for this upcoming I guess if you want to call it a direct, do you want to call this a direct, or is it just?
I think they're calling it Mr. Sakurai Presents is kind of what it seems to be emerging as, because he's done one since Hero.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we're not going to call it a direct, but my hope is this, and we've mentioned this before. We have a podcast, by the way, really quick plug on that. We've discussed that we are very close to this uncharted amiibo territory, something we've never encountered before. And that is, we have never had a moment in amiibo collecting where we didn't know what was coming next. And come Friday, we have Dark Samus, and we have Richter Belmont, and that's it. Nothing else is confirmed. Nothing else has been announced. No release dates, no prototypes, nothing. And that is just a very odd place to be for an amiibo collector. We have speculated that Nintendo might start winding down on amiibo. We've also speculated that Nintendo might come in at the last minute, right before these last 2 amiibo are announced, and give us the news we want, which is the DLC fighter amiibo are coming. And that very well might happen tomorrow. So I'm curious your thoughts on that. Do you think we're going to get any amiibo discussion tomorrow during this Nintendo presentation?
I do, although at the very minimum, I think it's just going to be to remind us that Richter and Samus are available.
You think that's going to be it?
I think that's the minimum.
Okay.
Because they've done that in the past, where in the Terry one, unless I'm not remembering correctly, he pulled out Simon and he pulled out who are the other ones that we got with that one? I'm glancing back at my shelf. Incineroar and Chrom. Yeah. So I think that he'll remind us, hey, yeah, we got these ones. But it would not surprise me if it was also like, oh, and hey, by the way, here's Joker or Hero
Yeah.
or one of the other DLC ones. But as I know you've been very concerned about these,
I'm
you've
super
expressed
concerned. Super
this
concerned.
anxiety. I think it is an irrational fear. I hope that I'm justified in saying that because Nintendo's made a commitment to having all of these characters in immortalized as amiibo,
Yeah.
and I think that that's gonna extend into all of the DLC fighters certainly. So
It would make
the
sense that that would happen.
wouldn't it be much more shocking for us not to get them than for us to
It
get
would
them?
be. It would be totally shocking for us not to get them. But at the same time, too, Nintendo has done odd things in the past. And like I said,
Yes.
I've mentioned this before on the podcast, that my concern is that Amiibo are sitting on shelves now for prolonged periods of time. The pre-order wave of people coming to get them, I feel like is still there to a certain extent, but stores are not selling Amiibo like they used to. My local Target, I've mentioned this before, still has original Simon Belmont. I think they have it clearanced out now from the day it came out, and that's not something you would see 2 to 3 years ago. So
No.
it's one of these things where I feel like the nature of Amiibo has changed to a certain degree. Part of me wonders if Nintendo is reevaluating what this is going to look like, because we know that it's not just the DLC fighters. We know that there's going to be another wave of DLC coming too. So it's not just this fighter pass, it's whatever's coming past this. So does
Correct.
Nintendo want to invest all of this money for something that's nowhere near as lucrative as it used to be? And I think that's the big question of kind of on the minds of many Amiibo hunters. Again, I think it's kind of far-fetched to think that we won't see Amiibo. I would just feel more comfortable if Nintendo just confirmed they were coming. A prototype, a release date, a photo, a sentence. I mean, any of that would be fine. I would
Yeah.
take any of that at this point.
I don't think it's unreasonable for them to slip in some kind of line about. And for those of you who are wondering about the Challenger Pass fighters, don't
Yeah.
worry, they're getting Amiibo too, because that's kind of been consistent with what they've done before. Even though Amiibo don't often receive big highlights anymore, they usually do receive a mention. And as we've mentioned many times before, Smash was where Amiibo were introduced. It continues to be their most robust game in which they have functionality. And maybe they do finish out with the Smash series. Maybe this is the end of Amiibo, but I do think that they're going to see it to the end.
You think so?
I don't doubt that every single Smash character who attains playable status in Smash Brothers will receive an Amiibo. I'm almost certain of that.
All right. So really quick, before we get on to the speculation about who the DLC fighter is going to be for tomorrow, I do want to get your opinion on what DLC fighter Amiibo are you most looking forward to and why?
So far, I think the one I'm most looking forward to is also the one I'm most dreading.
Sure.
And that is Hero. Because I love sword fighters. I know that most people who are entrenched in the Smash community think that there are enough, bordering on too many. But you can never put too many sword fighters in there, in my opinion. So I think the figure looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't have a particular attachment to Joker at all. In fact, I could not be any more benign about Joker. I've just never played a Persona game, so he does nothing for me. I think Banjo-Kazooie is going to look great as a figure.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the favorite one, and it's going to be nice seeing him on my shelf because I do have a figure of him from the Super Mario Kart line that goes way back to the 64 era. I'm not exactly sure when that figure line released from.
Wait, what was that? Was that what was it? Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah.
Got it.
Diddy Kong Racing.
I think that was Banjo's first appearance, wasn't it?
I think it was. It wasn't intended to be, if I recall correctly, but that game just circumstantially released before
Sure.
Banjo-Kazooie did. So it made him like a, who is this guy kind of moment. But I did get the figure, even though I didn't know who he was, because I wanted to complete the collection. So I've Whiz Pig, Diddy, and then Banjo from that set. So it'll be nice to be able to get a figure there. But Diddy Kong Racing is the only experience that I have with Banjo. And I never played as him. I always played as Diddy.
Yeah.
And then the Terry, he's going to look great on the shelf. But again, I did play him as a kid. I liked the idea of being able to play as Terry against Ryu. But Hero has a little added personal interest for me because I like to customize.
Yeah.
And if Nintendo does not go all in and make all 4 of those Hero alternates, then I feel like I have a responsibility to do it for myself.
Yeah.
That's also why I'm dreading it, because I want to have them, but I really don't want to make them. So it's like this weird like warp zone as a creator where I know that I can do it and I do want to have them, but I don't really. I know I could see how much work they would be to convert because they're very different. They're all so different.
I'm in the same boat where I'm most excited for Hero, but and I don't want to knock on any Dragon Quest XI fans because I love Dragon Quest XI. I thought it's an absolutely just phenomenal game. But the Luminary is probably my least favorite hero out of all of the alt skins that we have for Dragon Quest and Smash. But he is the default skin for Smash. So if we do just get one amiibo, it's going to be the Luminary from 11. I don't have an attachment to him. I think Edric would be by far the best choice.
For sure.
I think he is iconic, not just here, but in Japan. I think he's incredibly iconic. His armor is absolutely just gorgeous. Dragon Quest III is one of my favorite games of all time, too. So that just really helps. But at this point, I'm not sure if we're going to get a 4-pack. Yeah, 4-pack, right? There's not 5. There's 4.
There's 4, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So that, the same thing with Persona. I'm in the same boat as you. I have really no attachment to Joker, but I am very, very excited for a Joker amiibo just because of how he looks. I think he would make an absolutely gorgeous amiibo. Obviously, Banjo is going to be great too, but I think my least favorite at this point is going to be Terry. I know, I'm sorry, Terry fans. I want to get behind Terry. I don't have like the warm and fuzzy memories of SNK that you do when you were a kid. But I mean, I'm going to pick him up. Anyway, I mean, I'm going to pick all of them up no matter what at this point. But yeah, I think that's my thought on the amiibo at this point. We just need Nintendo to confirm their existence. Hopefully that's going to be tomorrow. Any other passing thoughts on that?
Well, since you inquired about how amiibo are not going to be presented, it does make me curious about your larger thoughts about the presentation itself. Yeah. Do you think it's going to be like Terry was?
I think it's going to be, yes. This one's going to be odd because with Terry, we at least got a tease before the 30-minute, Terry-a-thon that we ended up getting.
Yeah.
And I think everybody that saw just how long the Terry event was going to be, they assumed that we're going to see a lot more than just Terry. But that was not the case. They filled up all of that time, and they did it with not a moment to spare.
Right.
So I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with this one. I do think it's going to start off with a very, very small, introductory trailer, like the one you see on the screen right now when Hero was announced. And then Sakurai is going to come on screen. He's going to unveil him, and then I think it's going to go from there. I think once we're done with that, there's going to be a very brief section on Amiibo where I'm hoping they show some at least some DLC footage of some DLC Amiibo. And I think the presentation is going to be ended with a tease of the next Fighter Pass. Just a very, very brief tease of the Fighter Pass. Maybe showing how many characters there's going to be. Maybe a brief tease of the first DLC fighter for the upcoming Fighter Pass. But at the same time, too, they don't want to take away from what they're announcing that day either. So now that I think about that and say that out loud, that might not happen. But I do think that at least after this, he's going to say Fighter Pass 1 is done. Fighter Pass 2 is now up for pre-order. We're not going to tell you who's in it.
Your thoughts are almost exactly my thoughts.
Yeah.
Where I went through the exact same mental process where I was like, it's going to be like Terry's. Terry was the longest Smash Direct that we've ever had, if not very darn near close to.
Yeah.
And it gave us nothing other than Terry. And so this one being somewhat similar to that, I think, is likely. I think it will start off with the reveal trailer, and then Sakurai will do his thing. He'll dazzle and delight with his amazing video game playing skills. And then I was like, and they're probably going to want to lead into whatever their plan is for this next DLC thing. But then I thought maybe not. Maybe they don't want to take away from this final character special moment. But then they are going to want to start selling it. So I'm almost in that exact same place. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did not get a single mention of any future characters, because we already know that they're coming, and why waste another opportunity to promote later?
Yeah.
Or why waste an opportunity to start collecting money now? So what is going to be the plan there? They can sell this without announcing a single character. So I don't think we're going to know a single character of what the next one's going to be, just like we didn't with the first Fighters Pass. And we don't even know for certain if it's going to be a Fighters Pass. But what I hope they at least do is reveal what their rollout plan is. I hope that they say, we've got another 3 fighters coming, another 5 fighters coming. We're not going to tell you who they are, but if you feel confident that you want to invest early, you can do that. And here's a pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Bam! Have a Fire Emblem 3 Houses Me costume.
Nope. Nope. I am banning Fire Emblem from forever being in Smash again after what we have. We have way too much representation for Fire Emblem. We're done. I know people want 3 houses in this game.
You can handle a Mii Fighter costume, right? Some Mii Fighter costumes.
Even a Mii Fighter costume would boil my blood at this point.
Are you kidding me?
I don't want to deal with it at this point. I really don't. Just give me something different. I don't want any more Fire Emblem representation in Smash. And you can say whatever you want to me about Fire Emblem, and if you're a fan, that's fine. I tried to get into the series, I just can't. But I'm looking up here right now. 1 Fire Emblem amiibo, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Fire Emblem amiibo on my shelf right now. I don't need another one.
Yeah, I even have 8 because of Female Robin.
Yep. And you have that beachwear Corrin too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her. But I don't think of her as a Smash amiibo. I think of her as a Fire Emblem Heroes amiibo. So she's on a different shelf.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm just at a point right now where I get that 3 houses is like a big deal, but just give another series a chance at this.
Well, since you mentioned it, that might be an opportune time for me to look back. Leading up to the release of the base game, I was doing a series here on Nintendo Wire called Smash Ultimate Countdown, where every week I would review all the stuff that Nintendo was releasing about the game. And when they first released the Fighters Pass, we knew nothing about it except that there were 5 of them. We knew the release schedule, and we knew that Nintendo had chosen who they were going to be. Sakurai had made a point of saying, I didn't pick these. Nintendo picked these. But he also gave a strong indication that he had a strong influence over whether or not that character would be viable in the game. So now we know 4 out of the 5. So I know that I am batting like terribly. I struck out 4 times, but I thought it would be fun to review who I predicted Nintendo would be. Now, to clarify, this is not who I wished they would pick. This is who I thought they would pick. My first thought was Rex and Pyra, because Mr. Sakurai had gone on record as being a huge fan of Xenoblade, and I felt like there was a room to slip another Xenoblade character in there, and I thought that there could be a pretty cool, interesting dual dynamic between Rex and Pyra.
I like that.
It didn't happen, but we did get the Mii Fighter costume. Some people, I've heard, still believe that that's a possibility for this 5th character. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say they're going to close this out with another third-party character. It makes the most sense to have an entire Fighters Pass with third-party characters. I mean, it just, I can't see a first-party Nintendo character making their way to this Fighter Pass. I mean, you would consider that a first-party character still, right?
I would, absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I think so, too. But when I made these predictions, we hadn't known of Joker yet. So I did think from a strategic standpoint, I looked through the year and I thought what ones would be the best way to cross-promote. So for the second one, I thought that they were going to pick a representative from Fire Emblem 3 Houses, mostly because Mr. Sakurai has proven he can't help himself with respect to including Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah.
And also because the game was going to be huge and it was going to be on Switch. You did just kind of give your thoughts on that. You have personally banned them from the game.
I did.
But do you think there's any chance that we're going to see a Fire Emblem 3 Houses representative tomorrow?
No, not at all. No, it's not going to happen.
Good. I don't think so either.
It will not happen.
Now this. Go ahead.
It's going to be third party. Like, I'm just going to go out and say that right now. It's not going to be Waluigi. So, everybody in chat who's spamming Waluigi, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. It's going to be third party. I can almost guarantee it. I am leaning... Okay, can we go into who we think it's going to be?
Let me blow through these next.
Close your thing out. You close. I'm not saying it's a thing, but
it's a thing. The other three that I thought it was, and I'm gonna do this a little bit out of order. I thought King Boo was a chance because they were trending towards villains, and we were gonna get a Luigi's Mansion title. So I thought King Boo might be a good chance to be able to incorporate another villain who would have a unique playstyle in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's gonna happen. And then the one of the other ones I thought was Ribbon Girl because ARMS has no rep. It's a fighting game. That's a first-party Nintendo title.
Yeah, they're done.
And
they're done.
I think they're done. But I'm for sure an ARMS rep will find their way into Smash eventually at some point, if not Ultimate.
Yeah.
Because they just will. But
I mean, we got the assist trophy.
We have assist trophy of
Springman.
Springman, and then we have a Mii Fighter costume of Ribbon Girl. But I do think it would be an awesome character to play as because they've got the extendable arms. It's like picture like a long range Little Mac. That would be super cool. I do hope that we do eventually get an ARMS rep in Smash, not in Ultimate. Not because I love ARMS. I actually have no interest in it whatsoever. But I think that it would be awesome in Smash.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I predicted was that we have a Final Evolution form of a water type from Pokemon in the form of Greninja. We have a final evolution of Incineroar.
No more Pokemon, man.
And we have the three starters from the original Kanto.
So you're saying that we need a grass type.
That was my prediction of what Nintendo would do. And I specifically predicted that it would be the grass type from the final evolution form of the grass type from Sword and Shield. However, at the time, we had not even seen Grookey. Yeah. Now we know that that's Rillaboom. And Rillaboom would be a really awesome Smash character.
Yeah, he'd be a heavy for sure.
He'd be a heavy for sure. But you've said you think that there's no chance that it's going to not be third party. But could they potentially slip in another Pokemon? Did they get that Pokemon Direct ahead of time so that the first reveal of the Gigamax form of Rillaboom is not revealed as this final Smash?
I still don't see that happening. My thought process is this. This DLC pack is going to close out with a third-party character who I'm going to predict here in a second. On top of that, I think the next wave of fighters are all going to be first-party. I think it's all going to be Nintendo All-Stars that haven't made it. We have our third-party DLC Pack 1. DLC Pack 2, I'm going to call it right now, is going to be called the All-Star Pack.
Oh, sweet.
Nintendo All-Stars. We're going to get Waluigi. We're going to get probably some other stupid Pokemon and another stupid Fire Emblem character that I don't want. But we're going to get them anyway.
Okay, so what you're really saying is not Nintendo All-Stars, Nintendo Leftovers.
Yes, yeah. You know what? That makes the most sense. But they're not going to say Nintendo Leftovers. They're going to say Nintendo All-Stars. It's going to be some corny name. It's not going to be Fighter Pass 2. It's going to have a name.
Can you even think of five? Like who? I've been wondering about this. Waluigi is the obvious left out. Everybody knows that Waluigi has been shafted, and he may continue to be shafted for a long time. Yeah, he's an assist trophy, but he's like the only mainline Mario character who is not in the game.
I would say Rex. I would say Bandana D.
Bandana D.
Which again, there's people in chat I know right now. I think Ricky Berg, one of our amazing writers, is in chat right now. He's a big fan of Kirby and Bandana D. Ricky, I don't get it. I don't get why people want a Waddle Dee with a bandana. I just don't get it. So
yeah, who wants a Goomba with a spear? And
if you want Spear Goomba, that's fine. But he'll be there. Skull Kid will be there. I think Skull Kid would be amazing. I know he's an assist trophy.
He would be awesome.
Throw me some more Zelda representation. I'd totally buy it.
Now, along the lines of Zelda representation, I don't think it would be unforeseeable that not for this fifth Fighters Pass character, but if they do continue down the line, seeing the Pig Ganon, because we have Ganondorf, but Ganon has never been in the game, and Ganon would be awesome.
So Ganon is technically in the game. He's a boss.
Oh, that's
He's a
true.
boss
That's true.
fight.
He's a boss.
So
I was thinking more along the lines of like the A Link Between Worlds version, where you have this like hulking boar, not really like the big, strong, muscular, emaciated one, but kind of like the fat guy with a trident.
So yeah, so we're talking A Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, Ganon, like the big
Yeah.
blue guy,
Yeah, the big blue guy.
the Animal Crossing version,
Yes.
which is great. He's amazing in Animal Crossing. But yeah, I could see that. I could see I see again Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I think it's all going to be first party Nintendo stuff, which would be a shame because I wanted Crash really badly to be in
I
Smash.
still think
I'm gonna
Crash.
throw the Crash picture up because we're gonna have to talk about him at some point.
All right, since you just mentioned him, I'm gonna say he's my guess for tomorrow. I really think that Crash is the most likely.
I want you to be right. I want you to be right so I can just have my childhood dream of Mario and Crash and Sonic beating the crap out of each other, and I would be the happiest boy alive. I mean, I think Crash, out of any other fighter, deserves to be in it the most, just for what he meant to early 90s video games. He was the first real platforming mascot to hold his ground against Mario.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, I understand that Sonic can also be there too. But from a 3D platformer perspective, Crash is where it was at. If you owned a PlayStation, it was Crash and Spyro. Crash and
Spyro.
I think Spyro would be a bit more difficult to pull off
because we don't need purple Charizard or Chibi Ridley. Like, the problem with Spyro is like he's too similar to characters that we already have in the game.
Yeah. Crash has the personality though, and do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't think Crash is going to happen. At least not tomorrow. And it breaks my heart that I don't think it's going to happen because I want him in there so bad. And I think his moveset would be amazing. His little Tasmanian devil spin that he does, I think would be just a kind of a cool move to do. Obviously, he's known for jumping. He uses his fisticuffs. We don't need another fighter or gunner, or not fighter, another gunner or sword fighter. So this guy's going to be full-on brawler. I think he'd be great. His final smash, I could see his little tiki head like coming up and getting huge and like blasting people away. So there's so many cool things I think Crash could bring to the game, but I just don't see it happening. I think I might have just bought into the leaks a little bit too much, though, and that might be why I'm kind of stuck here. Yeah,
the leaks haven't really affected me much, and I think it's because there's no uniformity. They are all over the place. We've heard Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden for the longest time.
Yeah.
We've heard Dante from Devil May Cry. There's a lot of strong leaks for him that have been going on for quite a bit. We've heard of Doomslayer forever. There's even been talk about Rayman and Sora, which I think has a really crazy outside shot, but if it's not Crash, I think it might be Sora.
Man.
Arl, who's I don't know at all, but from Puyo Puyo, but gaining some traction.
Yeah.
And then this quieted down, but for a while we were hearing a lot about Steve from Minecraft. And
I don't like it, but it makes sense.
I don't get it. I think Steve would at best be a Mii Fighter costume. Because
100 million downloads plus. Like, that guy, if anybody deserves representation in Smash, and if we look at Smash like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame of video game characters, as much as you might hate it, Steve has a place at the table. And
does he really?
I feel like he does. 100 plus million downloads of this game. It is not. I don't think you and I fell into the generation where Minecraft was so huge.
No, I definitely have not.
But my brothers, and even I have 3 brothers. I have 2 very young brothers, and I have a brother who's in his 20s. They all play it consistently, and they love it. So I feel like Steve does have a pretty big place at the Smash table to a certain degree.
Yeah, I'm getting shredded in the comments, so I can see that Steve definitely does have a strong following. But what makes Steve seem like such a weird outside pick to me is that I know nothing about the game.
Yeah.
I guess that Minecraft is huge. I have young brothers like you,
Yeah.
and my nephews play the game, and they're all super into it. And they all try to get me to play the game. It just has no appeal to me. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's a good game, but it doesn't immediately make me think Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And so if they were going to try to recognize it, I think Minecraft would work great as a stage. I think you could have a really fun, interesting like builder mechanic similar to the Mario Maker level
Yeah.
with a Minecraft stage. And I could see Steve being a background element. I could see maybe Steve or a creeper being a cool Mii Fighter costume. But he's just so exceptionally generic by design that how do you take something exceptionally generic, designed to be exceptionally customizable, and create a unique character out of them? So for me, that seems like Mii Fighter costume is perfect. He's super unique. He's got a million.
Case and point, TJ. Case and point. Game & Watch is a one-dimensional little black pixel dude. That's what he does. Sometimes he has a hammer. Sometimes he has a parachute.
Yeah, but look at the angle that they took with him. It's genius. They just went across all the Game & Watch titles, cherry-picked some sweet moves, strung them together into a cohesive moveset. So what are you going to do? You have Steve's sword and pickaxe people? Steve? Of course. Sakurai could do anything. But then you're characterizing them more in Smash Brothers than they even are in their own game.
I feel like there's enough. So you can craft pretty much any kind of weaponry that you'd like. And I could imagine that could be something you could do, where you could pick up stuff and you could craft it into a sword. You could maybe craft it into a stronger sword as the match goes on. I mean, I feel like there's something you could do. I played Minecraft for like a whole 2 weeks of my life. And they were a fun 2 weeks, so I can't be the person to try to explain the reason why I feel like Steve should be in it from like a moveset point of view. But I still think Nintendo and Microsoft, in this case, I guess too, since they own this, could make a compelling case and a compelling moveset if they truly wanted to. And like I said before, as much as he's not for me, and I'd be disappointed if that's who it was, I know there's a lot of people who wouldn't be. And
now, do you think that Steve has a chance over a higher profile, perhaps longer legacied Microsoft character like Master Chief?
I think Master Chief would be more iconic if they went that route. But at the same time, too, I think having another Microsoft character as the next DLC fighter in the same fighter pass would be kind of a stretch.
It's definitely a little bit more sleeping with the enemy than Banjo, because Banjo is still considered widely a Nintendo character because that's where he began his career.
Yeah.
Those games will forever exist on the Nintendo 64. So it's not like he's coming over. He's coming back. But Master Chief would literally be, crossing enemy lines.
I would flip my lid, though.
Yeah.
Once again, if you look at Smash like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Master Chief belongs there too. So,
now to play devil's advocate, though, I have always thought of Master Chief as a poor man's Samus. So, like, how would he distinguish himself?
That's tough. That's tough. Very, very different games. I mean, not so much anymore with the Prime series, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I think that's a statement.
Because once you move Master Chief into Smash, where the whole point of Smash is to take all these disparate characters and put them together in this cohesive, balanced experience where they all play the same. They have varying play styles, but the button commands are designed to make you be able to pick up any character that you want and be able to be reasonably efficient with them. So once you start distilling Master Chief down to his essentials, and I'm not saying this critically, I'm saying this inquisitively because I really don't have much experience in what's that game again?
Halo.
I don't know.
Get out of here, man.
I don't have much Halo experience at all. So for me, I just see Samus. Boy Samus.
I very firmly disagree with you. I think a lot of it has to do with I was a big Halo fan. I played Halo and had the time of my life back in the day. So that being said, I see them as two very, very different characters. I see Samus as more of a problem-solving, puzzle-solving bounty hunter. And Master
But she's
Chief
not in Smash. In Smash,
not in Smash. That's true.
So once you put him in Smash, how is he gonna? His moveset's gonna differ.
No, I don't. I
Samus.
totally agree. I think they would mirror each other to a certain degree.
So Samus Echo Fighter.
Yeah, I guess I could see that to a certain.
She already,
to a certain
already
level.
has Dark Samus,
But okay, are you ready for my prediction?
oh, lay it on me! I'm so ready.
All right, let me get the photo ready here. 5, 4, 3, 2, Dante. Dante was a character that I mentioned on a podcast a while back too, in passing. And I like Dante for many, many reasons. Number one, Devil May Cry inspired, at least in my opinion, Bayonetta. Very, very similar gameplay mechanics. It's over the top. It's wild. It's fun. It's combo driven. It's easy to pick up. It's very, very difficult to master. And from that perspective, Devil May Cry is an absolutely fantastic game. And I would like to see that kind of representation in Smash. It's not my first pick, but what kind of set me over the edge on this one is the tweet that the official Devil May Cry Twitter account put out, as well as, I believe, the voice actor for Dante. He put something Smash related that was later deleted. But the tweet that the Devil May Cry Twitter account put out said days to remember or days to mark on your calendar. And one was January 16th with a slice of pizza emoji for some reason. And then there was 2 other dates in there too. So part of me is like, well, they have to be unrelated because Nintendo would never allow an official third party to get the jump on an announcement. On the other hand, it was cryptic enough where maybe they thought they could get away with it. But I do think it could be Dante. I think he would be a decent fit. Capcom representation, I think he would be a great fit for that. I think a Resident Evil character would have made more sense, in my humble opinion. Either Jill Valentine or Leon S. Kennedy, I think would be absolutely amazing. But from a sword fighter perspective, from a personality perspective, and from a all-around, he's been around the block for, 3, 4 console generations now? Dante would be a decent fit for Smash 2. But I think this is the first DLC fighter we've had in a while where there hasn't been a definitive leak. So this could be completely unrelated. But at the same time, too, it could mean everything.
So many leaks have been hot and heavy where people were like staking their reputation on it. They're like, it is for sure going to be this. And a lot of those have already been proven wrong. Like there were people out there swearing up and down that Fighter 4 was going to be Ryu Hayabusa.
Yeah, and I saw that.
We now know that that's not the case. So I really don't. And people go to such great lengths to try to trick people. Like it's this badge of honor to trick people that your leak was real. I don't get that. It actually just annoys the living daylights out of me. But now what you're talking about is an official clue from the developers of Devil May Cry saying, hey, keep your eyes peeled because news is coming. That can be regarded as canon. That is true. News is coming. Now, is that news related to Smash? We'll know tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. We have, 11 hours?
11 hours. I think there's a good chance that you are right. But since I have never played a Devil May Cry game.
You should.
Are the controls janky, though? Because I can't handle janky controls.
They're not. They're
really?
So, if I were you... So, I've played every Devil May Cry since 3. If I were you, I would start with 5. The one that just came out. It is smooth like butter.
Okay.
It is absolutely smooth. I have not beat it. I have just played it.
It's kind of like an action game like Bayonetta?
It is Bayonetta on crack.
Hmm.
So the latest installment of this is, and this is going to be blasphemy, I'm sure, to some people, because I do love Nintendo with all my heart and soul. But how do I word this without the potential of my house being set on fire? I love that Nintendo saved Bayonetta, and I thank them for it because Bayonetta is one of my favorite franchises of all time. She's one of my favorite video game characters of all time. But because Nintendo saved Bayonetta, we have lost out on a true next generation Bayonetta. Like, if I could see Bayonetta in the same graphical style that I saw Devil May Cry 5, I'd lose my mind. I'd lose it. Seeing it on the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X would be absolutely nuts. And because Nintendo typically has less cadence when it comes to graphical power, which they've proven time and time again they don't need, with the Wii and now most recently with the Switch, we're not going to get that, at least not right now. So unless a Switch Pro comes out, which it very well might, I don't think we're going to get to see Bayonetta in the full capacity we could have seen her.
In all her witchly glory.
I hope I said that in a way that makes sense, and me not saying, like, I'm not mad that Nintendo is like the sole publisher of Bayonetta stuff now, at least new Bayonetta stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I think they saved Bayonetta.
They totally
I don't think
saved
Bayonetta would
Bayonetta.
have happened.
They totally did. I'm just saying it would be cool if we had the option of seeing it on higher powered platforms as well. I'm a gamer in every capacity. I'm not just like a fanboy to one particular company, even though I pretty much am a Nintendo fanboy for the most part.
So we talked about most of these characters that have been rumored, but do you think that there's any chance, and we discussed this a little bit on our podcast, but I want to know if you've changed your tune at all, any chance that Sora could be that fifth character from Kingdom Hearts?
I don't see it happening. Maybe. I mean, if you have Sora, you have to have Donald and Goofy, right?
Do you?
I mean,
isn't that Keyblade enough?
Okay, so I guess I could see it go a couple ways. I think Donald and Goofy are so much of Sora's persona at this point that it would be awkward if they weren't there in some capacity. Either A, Final Smash, or B, at the very, very least, a victory screen. But that would mean that you are not only bringing Square Enix into the mix, you're bringing Disney now into the mix too.
Now, wouldn't that be the biggest possible shock? Like, there's been so many legal loopholes that Nintendo's managed to jump through to achieve some of these impossible matchups. Disney would kind of be the ultimate one, wouldn't it? Like, there's no bigger hurdle.
Part of me feels like Disney and Nintendo are not playing nice anymore. Number one, I mean, Mario is now the face of Universal Studios, Walt Disney World and Land's biggest competitor. I heard there was some Wreck-It Ralph drama on the latest.
Yeah, Mario was originally confirmed to have been in that film.
Yeah.
During the pre-production stage, and then he did not wind up being in the film itself. So, well, there was some Nintendo representation, I believe, wasn't there?
Bowser was in one scene in the first one.
I know he was in the first one.
In the second one, I don't think there was any Nintendo representation.
Oh, so maybe that was part of their deal with Illumination to make the Mario movies. Hey,
That's
we don't
the
want
other thing. Illumination, now who we know is confirmed, is making whatever live action / hybrid animation of Mario, which is Disney's arch nemesis right now when it comes to that kind of stuff. For those in chat that are saying that from a moveset perspective you don't need Donald and Goofy, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Donald and Goofy are so ingrained into the character of Sora that I feel like it would be awkward for them not to be there. And I'm not just some like old man who's like looking at Kingdom Hearts from on his porch and yelling at it. I've played every game. And when I say every game, the mobile games, the DS games, the PSP games, all of them. And it's just one of these things where I think it would be awkward if they didn't show up to a certain degree. But yeah, I think from a perspective of like a fighter, Sora could do it. I think it
Would
makes
you
sense
say that
to.
Donald and Goofy are any more ingrained to Sora than a Pokemon trainer would be to Incineroar, or than the other two starter types would be to Incineroar? Because there are so many characters that do have like strong intrinsic links to other characters that did not ultimately make it into the game.
I,
Because
I,
ultimately, you do have to kind of decide.
I see Pokemon Trainer as an avatar for you, the player.
Yeah,
So I don't necessarily see that the same way. Donald and Goofy are like Sora's, like the whole thing about the heart, right? And I'm gonna get really stupid with this Kingdom Heart lore. It's like part of Sora's heart are these two guardian characters that have been with him since the first game. So for him to go into Smash Bros, get his invitation, and there to be that little opening movie of him getting his invite and Donald and Goofy not being there to celebrate with him would be weird. It would just be I guess he'd be with what, Kairi and Riku or something.
yeah. Couldn't they? Aren't those characters just as popular?
I suppose. I guess I could see that. But I feel like you wouldn't get the full package if you didn't have Donald and Goofy. That's just my 2 cents on it.
What about spirits? Like, would you be satisfied if they're like, here's a Goofy and a Donald
I
spirit?
still don't see Disney doing that. I think
It would be shocking. It would be completely shocking.
But Sakurai has been known to somehow get everything he wants.
Yeah, he can broker these deals somehow.
So
It's amazing.
would I be upset with Sora? No, I think that would be great. One of my very first custom amiibo that I ended up getting was from Gondakris, and it was a Sora amiibo that I think they took a Shulk amiibo and they turned it into Sora, and it was just gorgeous. So, yeah, from that perspective, I think it would be great. Do I think it's going to happen? No, not at all. I mean, while we're on the topic of characters that aren't going to happen, I want to talk about who I'd like to see, and that's Geno
Yeah.
from Super Mario RPG. So I'm going to throw that up here real quick. Another character that I don't think is going to happen, but I think it would be cool. I played some of Super Mario RPG, but I'm pretty much repping this one for my beautiful wife, Happily Candied, because she really, really wants this character in Smash. So I did some research on Geno.
Yeah.
I watched a couple retrospectives on Geno as a character, and I think he'd be a really cool fighter. I think he'd be unique. I think it would be awesome, and I think maybe it would give Nintendo and Square Enix the push needed to bring back the Mario RPG series the way it was intended, not with this Mario and Luigi crap, with the Square Enix Nintendo crossover that we all deserve. So that's what
I
like
beat
to
the
see.
megabits out of Super Mario RPG. I loved that game. I thought it was an incredible time. I thought it was a super cool, innovative spin. It had a nice. I don't remember what the exact term is for the way that it played, but it wasn't exactly 3D. It was just kind of askewed.
Yeah, it was like a grid.
Yeah. And Geno was a great character in the game. I had a lot of fun playing as him. I thought he was a new introduction. So he's more to me like Nintendo adjacent because he, even though Nintendo wasn't primarily responsible for developing the game, it was a game that revolved around Nintendo characters. And I was fighting with Geno side by side with Mario. So getting him in the game would be great. Mr. Sakurai has expressed on a few occasions how he's a character that he himself enjoys.
Yeah.
But this is a character that would be completely pandering to the fan base because it is not a character.
What's the matter with pandering? Pandering is great.
Clearly, because they've done that. That's how Banjo got in.
Yeah.
Banjo is another character who is
Banjo
essentially
deserved it.
I agree, but he's a character who's dead in the water. Like, it's not like he's got a robust, healthy franchise that's continuing to turn out A-list titles. He's a character whose heyday is either behind him or ahead of him, but it's certainly not right now. And Geno's the same, where he's appeared in one game with maybe a cameo or two in other games, and the wider gaming community would have no idea who he is.
I give you that.
Obviously, but we're getting a character like Terry, so Nintendo doesn't care. Because the wider gaming community outside of people who are competitive fighting game people or people who grew up in the 90s, they don't know who Terry is.
Yeah.
And Sakurai said the last one, hey, it's more important that a character is fun to play than that they're well known. Geno would fit that description. I would love to have Geno as a proper character, but what I'm thinking is more likely is that we're going to get a really awesome Mii Fighter costume like Sans. Not the one we had before,
Yeah.
but one where it's like a full, perfectly rendered, you could mistake them for being a playable character.
With a song.
Geno. With a song, which we already know Nintendo's been hitting people with copyright strikes for when they upload it to YouTube. So they're kind of reinforcing their claim to that song, the Geno theme. So I think that that's going to be more likely what we see for Geno.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see that too. There was some speculation, I'd say a few months back, where we had this rumor that we were going to start seeing regular costume drops just like we saw with Sans. And it would be like $4 packs where you would get a song, you would get a very, very detailed Mii Fighter costume. And I think, yeah, you're right, that would fit perfect for Geno too. I think Sans fans loved it. And I think it's a way that you can bring in characters that don't necessarily meet the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like criteria, but they still can, show up to the party in some respect. So I'd love to see something like that too. But if I had to guess, I'm still thinking Dante, but I would love to be wrong. I want it to be none of these characters. I want to be genuinely shocked. Like, do you remember when Simon Belmont leaked?
Yes, oh no, because I didn't know he leaked.
Okay, so he leaked. So somebody found the music for Castlevania like on the official Smash site the night before, which essentially gave it away that it was going to be Simon Belmont. Richter Belmont was still a complete shock.
Yeah.
But when Simon got leaked, I was the most disappointed I could possibly be, because I wanted that moment of just pure bliss of getting to see Simon Belmont without knowing that's what it was going to be. And I feel like this is the closest that we have to that we've had in a while. Terry got leaked, not necessarily Terry, an SNK fighter got leaked. People assumed it was Terry, rightfully so. I want that feeling of just being utterly shocked and surprised. And I hope we get it. I'm not going on the internet after this. I'm just completely done in case something gets leaked at, the 11th hour again. And I just hope it's something completely different. I hope it's not Dante. I do want it to be Crash. I'm not going to lie. But pure surprise would be great. It really would.
Now, Crash wouldn't be my number one pick, but he is my prediction.
So is Ryu, or Ryu Hayabusa?
No, I never really played Ninja Gaiden, even though they are my style of game.
Yeah, I feel like that would be right up your alley as a sword fighter.
I'll just quickly list the characters. Before we knew any of these, I made a wish list of who I wanted them to be. And so my top one was Wolf Link, because I think that he would be a very different playstyle from Link. I never thought it was likely, but I think it would be super fun.
Yeah.
I also really wanted Skull Kid. I really want Takamaru, who is in there as an assist trophy, but we don't have any samurai sword fighters, so I thought he would have been a really awesome guy. Waluigi, obviously. I don't know what the people's problem is with Waluigi. If you love him, you get to be him finally. Yeah, if you hate him, you get to beat him up. Yeah, so it's a win for everybody. And then a few other characters that are kind of sitting on the edge that I don't see any of these getting in, except maybe one of them or another one down the line. But that's Veridi from Kid Icarus, Ashley and Red from the WarioWare series. I think that would be a cool, like, Rosalina Luma type combo.
Sure.
Kat and Anna, also from WarioWare. I see like a cool little Kid Ninja Ice Climbers playstyle. And then Ribbon Girl, which we talked about earlier. And then finally Dixie. I think a Dixie Echo Fighter is still a possibility.
We have some pretty strong Donkey Kong representation right now, though, too. I would love to see Dixie, too. But if we're going to pick another rare type character, it's got to be Conker for me. I think it's about time that Conker made it, and I don't think it's going to happen. Again, Microsoft owns Conker. Microsoft essentially owns half of my childhood at this point, which totally sucks to a certain degree. But Conker, I think, would be great. Rayman, I think, would be great. I'm shocked we don't have a Rayman assist trophy at this point. So that gives me hope that we could see Rayman down the line. Bomberman, like I said before, I think would be a really good representation too. All those classic, like, OG video game characters that haven't seen the love yet. But Nintendo needs to pander to the characters that people know, except with Terry apparently.
Well, yeah, they don't need to.
I guess they don't need to. You're right.
They don't. None of these have been. I don't know who Joker is. Nobody knows who Hero is in the West. Nobody
that's not
knows.
true.
Nobody knows who Banjo is in Japan, and hey, nobody knows who Banjo is in America unless you happen to have grown up during that
Stop
particular
breaking my heart,
period of time.
man.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying that he's. If you were born at a particular time, you missed that character.
Yeah, I get that.
And then Terry. So all four of them, I think they all four qualify as obscure.
Yeah.
Because you need to be, and obscure does not equate to bad. I'm not saying any of these characters are bad. These characters are absolutely phenomenally amazing to the people who are fans of their franchise.
Yeah.
But all of their franchises are either little known or niche. So if you're a Nintendo exclusive player like myself, you probably have not played most of these characters. Maybe you did. So it's kind of hard to say where they're going with this last one.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any truth to the rumor that it's going to be a female character? Because with the exception of Kazooie, all four of the other ones have been male.
I mean, it could be. I mean, I'm gonna butcher this. Cosmos or something.
I think Cosmos.
Is it just Cosmos? Oh man, have I been butchering it this whole time?
Unless I'm oversimplifying it.
No, you're probably right. What is that, Xenosaga?
Yes.
Not to be confused with Xenoblade.
But connected to
But connected, correct. Possibly.
Some
I guess,
people have been hoping for Shantae, although I think that's not at all going to happen.
Again, I like Shantae's. It's a hard one with Shantae because Shantae's been around since the Game Boy Color.
Yeah. She's awesome. She's great. I'd be super thrilled if Shantae was in. I just don't see it happening.
I think Shantae would be an assist trophy first.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. But yeah, now that I think of it, I think Shantae would actually be a good choice. I like the hair whipping.
Yep.
And the potential grappling with that. It would be a unique character. It wouldn't be the same thing we've seen 100 times before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Shantae she can transform too. What about, I guess who's the biggest lady in gaming other than Samus? Lara Croft, maybe?
Lara Croft would make a lot of sense too, but what version of Lara Croft do you pick?
Yeah, and what's she going to just shoot people with her gun? Like, I don't really know too much about what moves she could have that would translate well into a fighting game like Smash.
I mean, it's difficult because Lara Croft is such, how do I put this? Her newer games are essentially just Uncharted. There's nothing really fantasy about it. It's just like brutal killing. That being said, I don't know how that would, I guess, equate to Smash.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, if they did it, you'd have to have, like, the old PS1 style Lara Croft. Like, that stylized version of Lara. Because right now, the new version of Lara Croft, I feel like, is pretty generic. I don't think there's anything that's really standoutish about her character model in the new games, but that's just me. But I could see that as, like, her being, like a old-school legacy fighter. For sure.
Now, do you think that there's anything suggestive about Sakurai's pose in the thumbnail for the presentation video where he's doing like the sideways?
I think there is. I think there is. I think it's probably not anything major. Part of me feels like he's just messing with us. Like
he knows that everything he does is going to be super critiqued and read into, and people are going to invent stuff that has nothing to do with anything. But that allows him to hide stuff when he feels like it.
It's weird. Like I think that
is it a 3? Like for I don't know, Kingdom Hearts 3 or.
I feel like it was just...
Doesn't Sora do that pose too?
Maybe.
And Crash did that pose too?
Maybe he's announcing there's going to be 3 fighters tomorrow and not just 1.
Ooh.
Now that's...
it is. Maybe I'm right. It is Rillaboom. They're going to do another Pokemon trainer, except this is the Sword and Shield Pokemon trainer, and they're going to pick a different stage. We're going to have Sobble whatever the middle of Score Bunny is, and then Rillaboom.
I would lose my mind. I'd be so upset. What if it's all Fire Emblem Three Houses crap? That would
Fire
do
Emblem 3. That's it, dude.
All the
You
house
just
leaders.
nailed it. It's all 3 Fire Emblem 3 Houses leaders. You just nailed it.
I swear to God, if that's it, I'm done.
The predictions
stream
could end.
off.
It's over. It's over. Amiibo Jason just nailed it. He decoded the mystery. It is not another Fire Emblem 3 Houses rep.
It is 3.
It is all 3 Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Oh, TJ, don't do this to me, man. So my thought process on it, I guess at this point, is we are 11 hours away from this point from finding out who it is. If I could have one wish out of all of it, I just hope they announce new amiibo. I just want to see the new DLC fighters. I will be a happy man. I don't care who it is at that point. As long as they confirm the amiibo, we're good to go. But TJ, any closing thoughts before we end this live episode of Smash Switch Speculation?
I'll just say this. If you don't like who this final fighter is or it's disappointing, don't worry, because we've already been promised more fighters yet to come, so nobody's hopes and dreams are dashed. It's going to be a fun event. I hope that we just all sit back, keep our expectations in check, and enjoy.
And real quick, if you're into this kind of discussion, TJ and I do this once a week. We have a program called the Nintendo Wirecast. You can find us on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on NintendoWire.com if you just want to listen to it in a browser. Check it out. I mean, we've been doing it now for about 15 episodes. Episode 15 just went up today. So we're going to be doing episode 16, I'm sure, pretty quickly after whatever happens tomorrow.
Yeah, there'll be a lot to discuss.
So if you're into it, we'd be totally happy if you gave it a listen, maybe even rated it on iTunes. Helps people
that'd be
find
sweet.
us. But TJ, where can the good people at home find you?
Keep yourself tuned in to the Nintendo Wire YouTube channel. That's where you're going to find most of my stuff. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm most active on @CustomConquest.
Rock and roll. And if you're looking for more info on me, you can find me on my personal Twitter account @AmiiboJason. I am the editor-in-chief at Nintendo Wire. That's NintendoWire.com. And, of course, right here on YouTube. And don't forget, we also do Amiibo News, which Amiibo ain't dead quite yet. So if you want to find out even more amazing Amiibo news, you can find us on Twitter @Amiibo News. And I think that's it. TJ, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure. And if any of these predictions come true, it's not our fault.
No.
We had nothing to do with it. All right, guys. TJ, any closing thoughts?
No, thanks for playing, everybody.
All right, stay wired in, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was a fun one, man.